YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have you all back here again, and in today's video, we're going to be reviewing another celebration of the cinema film for one of my personal favorite Disney movies, Disney animation films, Dumbo. Now, this is the fourth Disney animated film back in the 1940s, and this is one of those Disney movies because everybody is known for loving Snow White and Pinocchio, and those are absolute classics. But with this one, I love Snow White and Pinocchio, but this is personally one that I would say is my favorite of the Golden Age films. Like I said, I love Snow White, I love Pinocchio, but with Dumbo, there's something so amazing about it that's so emotional, so funny, such a really good story, and it's just seeing the story of this baby elephant is just so great. And it's also just one of those Disney movies that whenever I rewatch it, I tend to like it a little bit more. Now, with this second watch, I don't think I felt the same experience because I noticed a few issues, but it's still this masterful film of Disney and what they were able to do back in the day. But with that said, let's go in and get started talking about Dumbo 1941. So with the story for this film, I absolutely love it, and I love the way that it just executes it. Now, part of the reason what I said in the first part of this video where I said that this rewatch I did last night wasn't quite as good as the other times I've watched it is because part of the thing that you notice about this film is the runtime. The movie is on Disney Plus is 1 hour and 3 minutes. And I believe that besides the Los Amigos, this is the second longest Disney animated film. The longest one is Fantasia. My God, 2 hours of music and animation. With Dumbo, even if it's very short, but it handles all the stuff great and nicely. Where it almost feels like we want the scenes to be a bit longer, which is kind of the difficult thing about it. But with Dumbo, I love the story where it establishes from the very beginning. You have this circus, and you have the storks delivering all of the animals of the circus babies. You see a tiger get their new baby, the hippos, the giraffes, the zebras, but one baby that doesn't get a baby yet is the elephants. And as you see that, you're like, huh, that's pretty sad stuff. And as they're like hopping on the train to get to their next location, even the mom is still trying to look for the baby, thinking that will come, and like, oh, the stork is on his way. And so we get the big reveal, and we get the reveal that baby is Jumbo Jr., and we get the anticipation of just opening the package. And it opens up with this cute baby elephant. He's adorable as hell. And then the big thing that you realize, he's a baby elephant with huge ears. Except, well, actually all elephants have huge ears, but this one has huger ears than most. Unlike other elephants where they're just normal size, this one is the size of wings. And so, we'll talk about a little bit of something that I love about this film and in the next part. But I love the way that the story just establishes where everybody just finds him so cute, but as soon as everybody sees his big gigantic ears, people just make fun of him. And what's so kind of heartbreaking, and I love this story, that it almost feels like what a real mother and son would do, where like imagine like a special needs kid. So a bunch of kids are bullying a special needs kid, and a mom is defending her, but she ends up in jail. that's what I'm talking about, is that a bunch of kids were making fun of Dumbo's ears, blowing on his ears, and Miss Jumbo was just trying to protect him, and she gets locked up. And that's the heartbreaking part about this story, and especially as you have Mrs. Timothy the mouse, as he guides him, as, he's kind of like Jiminy Cricket 2.0, as he's kind of like the conscience for Dumbo, but he's not Jiminy Cricket. He's not. But he's a nice spice to the film, that in the way he's a great sidekick to Dumbo, as kind of like leads him to success and be great, but not in the way into what he needs, into what he needs to be for the circus, but really in what he should be, and not being made fun of this elephant with just big ears and being stupid and dumb. And as he said in the film, he's socially washed up because of everybody that made fun of him, and it's just so bad. But then he finally, as you see through the film, the birds make fun of him, but then they finally encourage him to give him a feather. But then you realize the feather isn't what's making him fly, it's the ears. And you just get this awesome moment where he zooms down. You think he's gonna fall in the pie thing, and then he's just, and it's this big sentimental moment. And then you get the transition to the newspapers and saying, "Big flying elephant, new Timothy the mouse is now his manager," and you get all the news, and the way the music swells, it's so instrumental. And then you get the train that we've been seeing throughout the entire movie. All the characters have new places in the circus, and you have the mom who was locked up throughout the entire film. She gets her own spot to hug Dumbo, and you also get Dumbo not in the clown suit, but you get him as like this jet flyer, as people will be flying jets, and that's what makes this film so great. Like, once you reach the end of the story, you feel complete, you feel happy, and you feel excited, and you feel good about the story, because it was written well and it was done well. And so overall, I love the story for this film. It was just so great. Now, part of this is actually what I wanted to talk about with the realistic stuff, is that this movie finds such a great way to turn a baby elephant and make it something so realistic, to where you actually are bawling and crying. Now, with other Disney movies, I can understand why people would cry, but this is one to where you're just bawling your eyes out as soon as you get to the scene with Dumbo cradling in Miss Jumbo's trunk. But it's not even just that. I mean, it literally kind of starts off it does a great way of where you can laugh at Dumbo tripping on his gigantic ears and the cuteness of him, but then you can also cry and feel the danger and feel the intensity of when kids are picking on Dumbo because of his ears, and you feel the tension escalating to where Miss Jumbo is going to beat the kids up, and then she gets taken away and she gets locked up. And that's the power of it, to where it's like, you feel danger, because that's what an elephant would probably do if his child was getting bullied or getting tampered with. And that's such a great story. I mean, that's such great emotion and great stakes, to where you actually care about the characters, and they don't even talk that much, but you still care for them. And then throughout the entire film, you just feel so much for Dumbo, as he's just socially washed up. And when you get this moment when Timothy takes him to go see his mom, she can't touch him much because she's chained up, so she lets out her trunk out of the bars, and he's just touching Dumbo with her trunk, and just cradling. And then you get the iconic song "Baby Mine," as you see through the night all of the animals are sleeping. Even Timothy was crying. That's like a fun detail to have. I'm like, it's emotional, it's sad, but it's so emotionally crying to that it's one of the most iconic songs played to this day. It's just like a great movie. I mean, it's just like a great scene. I'd probably say this is my if I have to pick my favorite moment from every Disney movie, this is my favorite moment from that film. I love Dumbo so much. It's the emotions in this movie and the realism of it is fantastic. Now with the characters, the movie's kind of limited with characters because really the main character of the movie is Dumbo, but then you also got Timothy the Mouse. You got the storks, the elephants, and then you got Mrs. Jumbo and then the circus conductor, but you don't really got many other characters in the film. Obviously Dumbo is just adorable, and I love the arc that he goes on even if he doesn't speak. Miss Jumbo, you don't have a lot of depth to her character, but at the same time, I like that her character is just plain and simple. She's just a mother protecting her baby, and now she just gets success, and plus she's an elephant. So I mean, you can't really blame her for that, really. And then Timothy the Mouse, once again, you could say he's a ripoff of Jiminy Cricket, but I would say he's a different type of character than Jiminy Cricket, even if you could say he is Jiminy Cricket, but he's a different type of character that I like that in the way he was used. And especially it has all these fun moments to where, like, as soon as he's introduced, he scares a bunch of elephants, and it's like, wait, and he sees Dumbo walking away, and he just goes up to the elephants and acting like he's gonna beat them all up. But then you realize, oh yeah, elephants are scared of mouses, and it's so hilarious, it's so funny. And then the circus conductor, like Mrs. Jumbo, he's just a circus conductor doing his job, and just being a circus conductor and thinking of ideas for the circus. Even though he doesn't really care it doesn't show that he cares for the animals all that much. He's just being a circus conductor, which is technically what circus conductors are in movies and real life, I guess. But yeah, I do like the characters for the film. They're plain and simple, and they're also much more realistic. Thus, why the movie is great. And the final thing we're going to talk about here is the animation, and this movie is gorgeous. Obviously, Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Bambi, all those films are beautiful, but Dumbo has the most unique animation style. As an animated film, it actually does quite unique things with the animation. Of course, you got the big animation standout here is the pink elephant sequence. Here's the thing. This movie takes a little bit of things from Pinocchio, where you have Timothy the Mouse, which is kind of rip off of Jiminy Cricket, but then you also got Dumbo and Timothy drinking beer and getting drunk. And that's how the pink elephant sequence is created. But honestly, I think that them being drunk, it's excused for the pink elephant sequence, because the pink elephant sequence is great. I mean, it is animated well, it's weird, it's wacky. You get to see what Disney was able to do with this type of animation. This is the best usage of 2D animation, where you have like pink elephants multiplying, pink elephants growing, pink elephants dancing. I mean, coming out after a year after Fantasia was released, this is a great testament of what Disney was able to do. And even with even some of the characters and certain things, it feels like a cartoon. Like, you have, like, when the people are riding on the train, right? The train kind of has a personality to where when the train is like slowing down, the train is like, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I thought I could, I thought I could, I thought I could, woo! and then he's like, all aboard, let's go. And I guess also part of the other thing I like about this movie with the animation and the realism is that it also finds ways to be very funny. Yeah, very funny. And with the train stuff, it's actually pretty funny. as well. But even in the character designs, like when you have all the men and the elephants trying to build the circus up, you don't really see any faces on them. And I think that they didn't really want to give faces to these non-humans. They're just, they're kind of like NPCs. So, and they just have no faces, so you just use them in the background. They're just background workers. But I like that they actually gave the main characters actual personalities, and it even goes back to, and even does that with the circus animals. Like, sure, they're animated well, but they don't really have characters like they're actual characters of the movie. They're just random animals that are part of the circus, and that's something also I kind of noticed too, that like, if you're giving a certain character a face that looks like it can talk. Obviously, Dumbo does not have a talkative face, but he is the main character of the film, so you have to give him some sort of personality face. Obviously, the elephants talk, but the circus animals, they have this sort of thing where you can tell what their emotions, but they don't have a face where you look like they're going to start talking, which I kind of like that. Overall, that's pretty much all I have to say. Happy 82 years, Dumbo. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All of my social media stuff is in the about section over there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.